Rosemary for the mission statement.
Okay. I noticed that she's been putting it right here on the page. Our mission is to be, my mission to anticipate and provide services to meet the health care needs of the people we serve.
Thank you very much. Presidents, welcome everybody. The first action item is approval of the minutes as mailed. Is there any corrections or additions to the minutes as mailed?
Just a lot of numbers, huh?
Yeah. If there's nothing to change on the minutes, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as sent.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Rosemary seconds. Can we do, we'll do roll call vote.
Graig?
Yes.
Maggie?
Yes.
Rosemary?
No.
And? Yes. Michael?
Yeah. Under public comment, members of the public are welcome to participate in the meetings of the board. Comments of the public will be accepted during public comment portion of the agenda only. No action on the comments will be taken by the board on matters not on the agenda. When the board president recognizes a member of the public for oral comments, such comments will be for 3 minutes or less at the discretion of the board president. We would like a calm presentation so that the importance of what you're trying to present is not overshadowed by the manner of the presentation. Anyone from the public?
Good afternoon, my name is Wes White. I do a YouTube channel, John Doe 13K. I've been following you guys for about a year now. Just asking, hoping, requesting to just put it on Zoom. You know, that way I'll go away and people will just be able to talk to you directly. It's just transparency, you know, and engagement. I think it's more about engagement, trying to put positive PR on it, you know, and making contact with your constituents and especially your residents and their family and their loved ones, because they want to know what's going on, and it'd just be that much easier rather than waiting for me to put it out, just to have contact with folks, you know.
I'm Ann Trebino, board member, and I've been approached in the last 2 months by different members of the public, and I thought I would bring those comments to the board. One was from a family member whose grandma had just been admitted to Eden Valley, and she called and she said, you know, when my grandma first got here, we weren't really sure how to do it, how things were going. We had a little bit of difficulty, and we went to the social services department with an individual named Pam, and she said she couldn't have been better about helping them resolve their issues, and now everything is going a lot better for the family. So I thought, well, that's a very positive thing, and I wanted to present that to the board. The other day I was at the post office, and I ran into an individual whose pops is here, and he's been here for several years, and she said, you know, we're happy, and he's happy. He's going to have a birthday coming up, and, you know, Pops is well taken care of. He's been in the hospital, but he was glad to come back. And then finally, I got a call from an individual who came to visit, and they were concerned because the handicap parking places out front were taken by Eden Valley vehicles, the ones that say Eden Valley on them, and both of the handicap spots were taken. And I told them, I said, well, this has been brought up before, but I'll bring it up again. And I noticed today when I got here that there wasn't any vehicles in there, so I'm hoping that that's a step in the right direction. So that's what I've heard on the street.
Okay, when I got here today, one of the handicap parking places was taken by the van. And the other was taken by a visitor.
Right out front of this building or over the other side?
Here.
It's
right
empty
here.
now.
These are empty now, but they are
When
parked in the
I got
handicap
here-
space by the other part.
When I got here for the meeting, the van was in the parking place. I was here for the meeting.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with you.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, yes, and they're parked in the space over by the other building instead of in one of the empty spaces.
Both are available now.
Well, I mean, there's other handicap spots at the clinic that are being filled by those vans. I went to Prime Care a couple of weeks ago, and I was in the park. I was there early, and our van was parked in the loading zone right on the edge of the fire zone for at least 45 minutes when I was there with nobody in it at Prime Care. And that's not a parking area. And I don't know who the driver was, but there was nobody in the van. They left it there and they must have been inside someplace.
Prime Care has about 20 handicap places, and they're always taken. They're always used.
Well, then they should drop the patients off and then go park the vehicle. They left it right there in front of the building in the loading zone.
Well, we don't know what was going on, so we can't second guess.
Okay, anything else? If not, we will go on the treasurer's report. Okay, carry your own voice.
There's just a lot of pages.
There has been a lot of pages, so we could go, starting on page 6 is the October, but I think we can, sorry, my phone is just running off the hook. My son just got offered a job in the medical field in Indianapolis, so we're trying to figure out, so, anyways, so everybody's trying to talk to each other.
Yeah.
So on page 6, but let's go ahead and skip to page where we start December because we can see all 4 months, October, November, December, 3 months, as we discussed December.
What page would that be?
I'm getting there, it's on page 25.
Well, it's the October, November, and December all through there.
Right.
December is the update.
Right. So this will give us a 6-month picture of July through December. Okay? So just starting, we have cash, 2.5 million in cash. Our receipts have been picking up a little bit based on our revenues for that first 4 months of this year. We've been starting to collect those, which is really good. But our receivables, you'll notice, are still about $748,000 higher than they were last year at this point. So another positive trend, and we'll see that as we go through here. So our current assets, which is the sum total of those first 6 items, is almost $5 million, $4,993,000 compared to $3,332,000 last December. Okay? Go down. This is where we have our estimated third-party settlement, our liabilities. So our current assets are $1.6 million higher. Our liabilities are 1.4 higher than last year. Okay? So our liabilities are higher, but our cash is higher as well. So, and what this does not include yet is it does not include the PPS settlement for the year ending June 30th, 23. Okay? We've got a rough estimate of what that is. Have you told them what that is yet?
Darn. Yeah.
Okay, so rough estimate is about 1.5 million, 1,494,000.
And I just wanted to, since we're on that topic, so we went ahead and paid the final payment for 2019.
Correct.
So that's closed out the remaining balance. If you guys recall, it was 409,000 roughly. And our last payment was made in the month of November, which was $35,000.
Correct.
So that's been completed. And so in exchange, we are taking those dollars and transferring them into the savings account.
Okay, and the 2020, they should be contacting us almost any
Very
day.
soon. And that,
And then that was $1 million.
$1,037,180.
Right.
So for 2019, we paid $35,000 November. That was the interest on
No, that
No
was the
interest.
final
the
principal
final
and
payment
interest.
to pay off the, what was the
2019.
409,947.
Yeah. So that 3 million is basically the 2020 year of $1,037,000. It's the 2021 year, which is $1,200,000, I believe it was.
$1,100,000.
$1,100,000. And then it also includes the 22 year, which is
$1,211,388.
$1,211,000. It does not include the 23, but it does include an estimate for the current year. Okay, so rather than get surprised at the end of the year with another $1,494,000, I have booked $750,000 for the first 6 months of this year. so that we can start putting that in the books so that we can anticipate what those liabilities will be, so we're not surprised at the end of each year.
And this was a request that I made when I first arrived, because this was not part of the analysis of the financial statement. It was typically applied only at the end of the fiscal year, which was for me not able, for us to be able to see the ongoing stream. Brent started including that once we got the every month.
Okay, so my plan now is to do this quarterly. So each quarter, I'll estimate another, so at the end of March, we'll put another 375,000 in there.
So the estimated third-party settlements is all PPS, and it's the 2020, the 2021, and the 2022, and that 3 million also includes that 750 estimate
Correct.
over there is already part of this, right?
Right, but what it does not include is the 23, which we just received the estimate of
I
$1,494,000.
thought we put a stop to that.
We have, but it takes time.
Oh,
Okay, so that $1,494,000 is not included in here.
So what is this 750 over here?
That's the estimate for July through December, which will be our 24 fiscal year.
Oh, I'm sorry, got it. So you have an estimate for 24, this number does not include the 23.
Correct.
Got it.
Okay? So as we go through these numbers, know that I have reduced your income by $750,000 for the first 6 months. And you'll see that several places, okay? Because, through September, which is the last report you had, we were at like 700,000 of income and everything was looking really good. I kept warning you that, we're gonna have this PPS settlement. Now I wanna put it on paper so that you can see it.
And PPS is we took an advancement of what we're going to return on payables, and we took more, and so we're paying it back.
We took an advance on the receivables, not the payables.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
And so we took an advance on, I thought we did, you said we did stop that, but now they're still giving us the advance? Or what are you saying?
well, so it hasn't taken effect yet.
Correct.
We've instructed them to stop it, but it hasn't stopped yet. So it takes a while for the paperwork to go through so that they can change the way that they pay us out.
So what do we do with that advance?
What's
Just
that?
adding in our numbers and paying our bills with it?
Yeah, no, it's all part of the cash and the receivables that we have in the books.
and it's gonna come out.
What I'm saying is, but if we get that extra and then we don't spend that extra, then paying it back should be easy. So obviously we must be spending it. They're giving us more than we're supposed to get when we got it, and now we have to pay it back. Well, if we didn't spend it, it'd be easier to pay it back.
Well, see, what happened was back, I don't know how many years ago when this first started, the first year that we got all this extra money, we used it to pay for improvements, we used it to pay for other things. We didn't save it,
Got it?
okay? And so now, every year, we're paying back the 2 years ago, and so the excess we're getting this year is going to pay the 2019 and the 2020,
Got it.
okay? But hopefully, with the changes we've made, now we can also pay back that third year, but also pay the current year with the profits that we're making so that we can eventually catch up.
Do they ask for the money or do you voluntarily send it in?
No,
They
they,
have to ask. We
Yeah.
tried.
They ask, you have to wait for them to ask.
Yeah.
yeah.
But,
And it's in
So,
the
and
2 years.
we get
too.
this letter, they request the whole amount, and then we call them back and we say, hey, can we do a payment plan? And they say, sure,
Yeah.
with this amount of interest.
That's the CMS letter, right?
What's that?
The CMS letter.
I'm not sure what it's called, but it's, yes.
So it comes from Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. And when I
I
started
thought
this
this was a
research,
state, I thought this was a state deal, not Medicare.
and that's why I was asking, because it talks about when I was researching that obviously there should be a CMS letter or a letter from them that defines that in
I
details.
think it's from the state.
Yeah. It's related to the Medi-Cal.
Medical.
Medical.
It's the DHCS.
There it is. Department of Health Services.
And if you go online, you can go to overpayments frequently asked questions, and that will help you learn more about how the PPS works.
Are copies of that letter with that numbers available to us to look at?
Previous years,
Right, if you don't have it, you can't show
We
it.
don't
yeah,
have
we haven't gotten the
We
request
haven't
for
gotten
the 23 yet, or for the 2020 even.
And it's in the audit report too, if you want to refer to the audit report, it's in your audit reports.
The explanation of it, right,
Yeah.
not the letter, but the
I'm not
The
explanation.
good part is that when you get down to page 25 and it shows number of days of cash on hand,
We're
and
climbing.
it says, look, and the auditors
climbing.
would be happy.
Yes, yes,
So, that's
okay,
the plus side.
yes. All right, so let's look at page 26. Oh, sorry.
Disaster.
So this is our revenues for both campuses, for both the clinic as well as the Eden Valley. So our revenues for the first 6 months, 11.5 million, 11,544,000. Okay, our contractual adjustments, 2,533,000, and there is the first glance at that 750,000. Okay, so I've added that this year to reduce our revenues.
Why don't you call that an expense instead of a negative income?
Because it's a contractual adjustment, and that's where it's gonna go, it'll be combined for the audit with that 2.5 million. So in the audit, you'll see it as 3.2 million. I wanted to show it separate so that you could track how much we're estimating.
And that contractual adjustment is the old PPS minus your estimate for this year.
No.
That contractual adjustment, no, that is our monthly contractual adjustment. That is what we estimate, you know, when we bill somebody, you know, for services at the clinic, you know, we may bill $100, but we're only gonna get 60, so that $40 is the contractual
Got
adjustment.
it.
In just real simple terms. Okay? All right. So our revenues, you'll see there are, even with the 750,000, is 1,871,000 higher than it was at last year at this point.
That's excellent.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
That really is.
Very good, yes.
Okay. Then when you look at your expenditures, we're 658,000 higher, and almost all of that is in our nursing.
Yep.
You look at professional fees,
Right there.
565,000, and the detail for that professional fees, it's almost all nursing. Okay? Part of the decrease in salaries is that we don't have a full-time nurse salary. Well, it's because we're paying a fairly good price
Well,
for
and then
the
other
outside
thing too
services.
is that with Eden Valley census up, you need more staff.
Yeah, and that's why you don't see a dramatic decrease in salaries, because we've had to increase some of our salaries just to handle the census. You know, but part of the decrease there is that we don't have a nurse, a full, you know, the head nurse on staff, nursing administration.
We now do,
Okay,
yeah, she just came.
for
on
this
board.
6-month period,
Yeah,
okay? So if you look, our operating income, even with the 750,000, we're 1,307,000 better than last year.
Great.
Add that 750 in, you know, $2 million
2 million.
better than last year, okay?
That's good.
That's very good.
So now you go down to our bottom line to add, well, first of all, in that non-operating revenues and expenses, you'll see district property tax revenues, 213,000. Okay, that was our first installment that we received in December. Remember, we received them in December and April, and then there's just a little catch-up in June. Okay, June is usually about $10,000.
we don't get enough.
Not good.
I'll be working on that.
No.
Okay? So now you down towards the bottom of the page, you can see where the income is coming from. Okay, so Eden Valley, 1.1 million, compared to $250,000 loss the prior year. That's all census driven right there. Okay? The clinic and women's health center, now it's showing a $396,000 loss, but that's including the $750,000 write-off. So if you add the $750,000 back, you've got about a $350,000, $375,000 profit for the clinic
And
without
you
it.
would add that back to the clinic and not Eden Valley?
Yeah.
Yes, the PPS is all the clinic.
Got it,
It's all clinic,
yeah.
okay? And then we have our district expenditures, a loss of
Wow,
350.
It's really good that the ship is turning.
It's turning, but it's a big ship and it,
You're good, you're good.
It takes time.
yeah, it's not a little Mini Cooper that you can just turn around and,
This is an aside, and may not, it's not directly with this, but with the budget deficit that the state is encountering, I think it's 64 to 68 billion. In the past, I think they held up our Medi-Cal payment. We have the leaf account, leaf account. We don't have that anymore.
We have 15,000.
50,000. Is there a danger of there being a delay us being paid, and does that necessitate us being very careful in making sure those 69 days of experience?
Yeah.
Okay, but I just want to make this, I don't know if everyone's been aware of that, but that just terrifies me.
Yeah.
And
I was really concerned prior to the month of November because our receivables were climbing and our receipts were not, you know. But in November, we started to see some payments coming in, and in December, we saw some pretty good sized payments come in. Hopefully that will continue and they won't put a hold on any payments.
What's the turnaround time from a claim submitted to when you get paid now?
I mean, we're very fortunate, we have really good billers in-house. A quick turnaround, 45 days, a long turnaround can be 120 days to 6 months.
Ours usually it's usually about the 45 to 60,
Yeah.
probably.
So we're pretty average for.
When the
for
state doesn't
healthcare.
hold on to anything, it's usually 45 to 60. It's usually within 2 months we'll see. I mean, if we have a really big month in the clinic, I know in about 2 months I'll see that money come in.
going back to my comment, so I'm assuming that when we work on our budget for this next fiscal year, where that budget, that deficit is going to really come into play, we will try to protect ourselves from that. I'm
Yes.
assuming. Okay.
Okay, so now this middle of the page is where on page 27, this is where you can see the income by month. Okay, so July we had 163,000 profit, August 242, September 206, October 351. Okay, November the census started to slip a little bit, and in December it continued. So we only had 37,000 profit. Okay, but you know, look at the prior year. We would have loved 37 in profit last year. Okay, so you know, but census has picked up again. The last time I was talking about it, I was in your office and they said 50.
We're at 51.
51. Okay, so it's not where we were during the months of September and October, but it's at least better than November and December. Okay.
Well then, too, when you get down to the totals in there, and you compare it to 2022,
Yeah.
that's significant.
Significant. It's a $2 million
It's
gain.
significant in the right direction.
$2 million gain.
Yeah. Okay, on page 28, this is a summary of Eden Valley. So you can see our revenues, our expenditures, we're showing a profit of $1,100,000. You know, once again, there's your nursing administration. There's your 554. We were talking about this increase in professional fees of $600,000. $554,000 is in nursing administration. Okay. Other than that, your dietary is up, but when census is up, you know, you're going to have dietary
And the
increase.
cost of food is up in general.
Right, right.
Well, that's true too.
So you're saying, when you get into this nursing administration, some of that is part of professional fees when you break it out?
Yes, the majority of that nursing administration for this fiscal year, for July through December, I think we had an employee for the first couple of months. We were paying somebody $7,000, $14,000 a month or something for the first couple of months, and then it's all been professional outside services. Okay? And then down below you can see Eden Valley, and it's broken down by type of service. Okay? Then you go to Soledad Medical Clinic. Now here, that $750,000 is included in those contractual adjustments of $3,475,000. The $750,000 is part of that. I did not break it out individually on that page. Okay, but it's part of that $3,475,000. So our revenues at the clinic are down a little bit. They were in particularly down in December. And whether that's because people were gone, whether that was because of the holidays, people didn't want to go to the hospital and perhaps get checked in.
Yeah.
They want to stay home for the holidays, you know, whatever that is, we're hoping to see another increase in January. Okay? But our revenue, but look at our expenditures. You know, they're down. We're down $420,000. Part of that is in the professional fees. You know, last year we were having to pay out a lot of outside with temporary employment. This year we've had most of it in-house. Okay, so there's been a drop there. Okay. Now down below you can see for the month of December, you know, we made $37,000, $14,000 at Eden Valley. We lost $20,000 at the clinic. The district has a positive 85. Why does it have a positive 85? Because we got our property tax revenues. That's why it has a positive. And then you see, so in total, $79,000 before depreciation, but then I wrote off the $750,000 and I took depreciation. So for the month, we're at a loss of $712. Okay?
For the month or
No,
for
for
the
the-
6 months?
For the month of December only.
So you're taking that 750 out of the month of December?
Right. Okay?
It would have been better if we didn't have to pay that money.
Yes.
Right.
Okay? And then here's your cash flows for the 6-month period. Okay? And then we can go to our budget on page 31. This is all three, the district, the clinic, and the Eden Valley together. So this is a total budget year to date, so this represents 50% of our budget. Okay? And 50% of our budget shows that we should have surplus $50,000. Even with the $750,000 write-off, we're at $353,000. So we're $300,000 better even after I deducted $750,000. Okay? So in total, we're at 353, and then the individuals are there, but let's turn to the next page so we can see Eden Valley all by itself. Okay, so our total budget for Eden Valley is a profit of $1,178,000. We're almost already there after 6 months. So to hit our budget, Eden Valley just needs to break even for the rest of the year. I mean, we don't want that to happen. We need those revenues. So
That's the annual budget, not the budget to date.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry, I see
so the
that.
first column is the total
I
of
see
budget.
I
The
see.
second column is the 6 months.
Right.
Okay, that's just taking it in half. So we should have made $589,000 for the 6 months. Actual year to date is $686. So we're actually $97,000 better than our budget for the 6 months for Eden Valley. Okay? And, you know, when we did the budget, we were hopeful that our numbers, you know, weren't too far out there, you know, in order for us to break even. And, you know, I think we're pretty much right on target. Okay? Next page is the clinic. So our total clinic, we're estimating a loss of $1.5 million. Okay? 6 months should have been a loss of $752,000. We are at a loss of $672,000, so we're $80,000 better off there. Okay, so we're doing okay. And this includes the $750,000. Okay? If I didn't have the $750,000, we'd be showing about an $80,000 profit. Okay? All right. And then our district on the last page, $427,000 is our annual budget. 6 months is $213,000. We're at $339,000. Okay, and so we're $125,000 better off there. So 125 plus 70 plus 90, you know, that's our difference of about $300,000 on the first page.
So other than that property tax, how does the district make money?
It has some miscellaneous revenues. These may be like grants, or these may be refunds. These may be some other miscellaneous revenues. But basically, all the expenditures of the district get split. Eden Valley takes care of 60% of it. The clinic takes care of 40%. And that's based on salaries. Historically, we're somewhere near 60-40 in our salary split. And so we allocate 60% of the district expenditures to the Eden Valley and 40% to the clinic. When those salaries start to differ, we'll change that percentage, but I think last year we were at 59.5%, and so I just kept it at 60-40. Okay, until I see a dramatic difference, we're gonna keep it at 60-40. Okay?
Expense-wise, that makes sense, but so, property tax, over here, was about 200,000.
And we have 125,000 up on the top line
Right.
for other operating revenues. So if you take the other operating revenues and the property taxes, that's our income for
Right.
for the district.
So where are the other operating revenues listed or broken down, or are they?
I can get you the detail on that. I don't have it, but it's primarily just some refunds. It's some miscellaneous revenue that maybe at this juncture I haven't gotten the detail for, so it's just sitting there.
Got it.
Okay. There was one large one in there, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but I can't off the top of my head.
What one?
I don't remember.
You're saying eventually
I
that
think it was
145
October,
would be
but I don't
assigned to
remember.
one entity or the other, but right now you don't know it's there, but you don't know who to give it to.
Right.
What you're trying to say.
Or it could just be general. It could be for both of them, and I'm just leaving it there instead of splitting it.
Right.
When we get our workers' comp dividends, I split those 60-40. When I get, CBI, revenues, I know that's the clinic, or I know it's, Eden Valley, and I can split those. If I don't have the detail, I just put it there until I get the detail. Okay? That's your report. Any questions?
Very thorough.
Generally speaking, we're doing really well, and, hopefully the census will continue to rise and stay at its current level or better, because at that level, we're doing well. I think that's where we're at.
So I do have a question. I
Okay.
sent an email to Ida this morning. We've been talking for about a year about being able to break some things down and look, and how do you analyze if you really can't see? And I was told it's too difficult. I saw it a long time ago, but I just found the link to find out. The city of Soledad, I can click on the link and I can look at every check they write. And so that information is available for the city of Soledad. Why can't that be available for us?
I guess it could. We just have to get the resources to be able to put it on the website.
Well, it's not even on the website, but to be able, we can't see that detail to ask questions and what is this, but anybody in the city of Soledad can see that information.
So I just want to go back, in the month of November, you did send a request to the board. You asked to see anything that was over $10,000 to be broken out.
Yes, well, I asked that a long time ago and I was told it was too difficult, that's why I asked it again.
So we worked on that. I just want to express that is correct. We had to work and hire our consultant to get you that information.
So we had to pay somebody?
We had
We had to
to,
pay somebody?
So what does the city do different? Mike Howard works for the same
Probably
company we do.
software.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
It's the software. So, and that's who you worked with, right? Is our software company?
it's a software consultant.
Yeah.
In order to get that. So I was able to get, for the month of December and November, the transactions that were over $10,000.
How much did that cost?
Because you have to include staff time, my time, and, I don't know, let's just say it's like $5,000 all in.
How much?
About 5,000 too, yeah.
Did you hear that, Mayor?
So,
Well, wait a minute, wait a minute.
But I don't have
No,
that.
please hold on. I did hear that, but that's not, then we should talk about it. I've asked for a year for these breakdowns, and now she says, well, this is what it costs for those breakdowns. I didn't ask her to spend $5,000, I asked her to know why we can't, because I can see that over here. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because for over a year, I've been going on, looking at the city website, and you can see that kind of detail for transactions. And I was told it was too difficult. So now she's partially explaining, hey, it's expensive to even get a breakdown.
Well, you can see it's a different type of software.
Okay, so here's something that you can do, okay? getting a detail such as $10,000 or greater, yeah, that's a little more difficult because you gotta put parameters on your search. But if you want to see just one particular account, you could send me an email, you know, and I can print that account out in 5 minutes, and you can look at the detail on that account. You know, so if you want to see professional fees for the clinic, you know, you just tell me I want to see professional fees for this area. I can print that out. That's not a problem because I don't have to put parameters on if it's greater or less than 10,000, and you know, and against all the accounts.
Right.
But I can print out an individual account, you know, in 5 minutes.
Well, that, originally I asked for individual account broke down, and that was too much. So I'm doing some research, well, if any number greater than 10,000 instead of breaking that, I didn't want to put a limit on, I wanted to put a limit on making it too hard. So that's
Okay.
where the 10,000 comes from. I just read student see trend. I mean, how do you can't analyze if you don't really know what's there. The only way to know what's there is to look at it. And we haven't really been able, or haven't done that.
So I also invite you to come in and sit with us, and that way you can see these items as well. They are readily available. It's just getting it in the format that you want to see it. So I do have, if that's okay with the board, I mean, I do have for the last 2 months, November and December, the transaction volume, but it's just keeping it going. And we have them readily available if that's something you really want to, you know, dig into and kind of see them and sit with us, and we can explain those to you. So in the month of November, for example, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18 items.
Okay.
Okay, and then in the month of December, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 items. That meet the qualification that you wanted us to establish. But these numbers are scrutinized at multiple levels. They're reviewed by each one of the managers. From the managers, then it goes to the district leader. Then from there, it goes to accounts payable. From accounts payable, it comes to me. And then finally, it goes to Brent for review and presentation to the board. And that's the part that you get to see now, is a summary of those numbers as they are presented.
So my question to you, Max, is just getting these are the expenditures, or do you want an itemized of each one of those?
I'd love to look at that, and then we can talk about it, because I don't know the answer until I see what's there.
Let me look at it, because you can say this right here, this item was, for this month was $14,000. Do you want an itemization of that?
I would like to see detail, to be able to look at it.
Then the question is, I'm asking questions, is how much time, staff time, and resources is that going to take?
Well, that's why I'm asking the question.
I'm asking the same question, Max, don't argue with me. Okay, I'm asking the same question, is because if it's going to take away staff time and resources that we need in other areas, then we need as a board to say, what are we going to do? Because I don't want a board member, me included, to direct staff or ask staff to do things that is going to eat up staff time, because one person, me or anyone else, should not be able to monopolize that staff time. And in fact, we have a board policy to prevent that, so that we can respect that. So just want everyone to maybe review that policy so that we can make sure that we're being respectful of staff time, and that if there is something that is going to require staff time, maybe a cost of changing the software, that's something we can talk about. But we don't, because I know today I came in and talked to Ida about something I wanted her to think about. I didn't direct her to do anything, but we've got fentanyl in the area, and we've got people dying. And my question to her was, at the clinic, do we have training? Because you just get a little bit of fentanyl and you can be explosive. You can be really. So if we have someone show up that has a fentanyl overdose because the ambulance isn't responding, and someone, Do we have the training? I'm concerned about our staff, but I don't want to, she's got 16,453 irons in the fire. Something I wanted to think about, but I'm not, there may be other things that I don't know about that she and other staff members need to be spending that time with. So, I think that then, if we're going to ask for something, we need to say, okay, what is it going to cost to do it? What is the time constraints, and then what is reasonable? And that's a reasonable request. And I think, this maybe just jumping on your timeline a bit, as maybe when we do our strategic plan, that could be something that we could start talking about, is what are that may be an appropriate time and place to do that, because we're talking, and I'd like this strategic plan. This is my head now, so I'm going to ask you to think about this, that we have a strategic plan prior to budget, because the strategic plan probably should drive at least part of the budget. I'd like to see a strategic plan, and this is what we're going to try to accomplish this year, but also, you know, in 2 years we're going to have to repave, or 5 years, whatever, this, so we can start thinking and planning for capital improvement, deferred maintenance, those kinds of things. So I'd just like us to think about that, because we need those things done before the budget year, so that means soon. Anyway, but anyway, it's a board policy that I want to just draw your attention to is the code of
I'll pass
conduct.
it out.
So
It's
it's
the code of conduct policy where it has,
and it's in the second paragraph, the last sentence. So I just that, and the idea is to be respectful of staff time, and that I, as board president, can't come in and direct and ask her to do things without your prior approval. It's a board action to direct staff, not an individual staff, a person's staff. Okay?
so, hang on.
I'm sorry, if I speak.
No, that's okay, and so I just want to clarify, so Max, you sent an email out this morning. You were requesting for financial reporting detail, and you had said for the board to review all transactions. So at this moment, I don't have anything of that caliber to present to you. I welcome you to come in so that you can see it.
Well, then that's an answer. I didn't direct you to go spend any money. I said I'd like, for over a year I've been asking for this kind of breakdown, and said it's too hard, it's too difficult, it's too expensive, and so that's why I asked. And then when I look over here and see this available, so well, why can this happen if it can't happen here? Some of the answer is that they pay a lot more for their software maybe, and that might be part of the answer. But so I've been asking this, and I haven't been getting an answer other than it's too hard, it's too much work, too difficult. So when I saw that, I said, well, why can they do it, why can't we? That's my question.
Okay.
But some of you have been getting some part of an answer. Brent several times has said if you have a specific question, and that has been addressed several times. I just said if you want to come in, I can try to answer some of your questions there. So there has been an answer to accomplish your goals. So I don't know of a time when there has
Do
to
you
be.
just want to see a list of all checks written?
Well, I just would like to look at what we're doing and spending. I don't know what we did. And how do we oversee and evaluate if all we know is, oh, there's, okay, yeah, those numbers are good, hey, they're going up, they're going down, that's good. Well, we don't know anything.
Have you ever come in and talked to Ida when she's invited you to explain it to you?
I haven't come in a while. Whenever I had before, I always had a reason why I couldn't get anything. So until I can get information, then I don't have time to waste my time coming in and be told I can't tell you that. And so that's why I'm looking to find out what we can do.
But Brent has several times has offered this, and there have been times when you've asked specifically, or someone else has asked specifically for a detail, and he's provided that. So that has happened. So it's not like anyone's stonewalling you. That has happened. Now, is it happening in the fashion that you may want, or the timeline that you may want? I'm not going to argue that. But you have been asking for things, and things have happened. You've asked for a ton of documents. You've gotten everyone with documents. That has taken a ton of time.
And I do have 5 emails from you in the last couple of weeks, and I'll be addressing those today. And each one, I want you to understand, we want to adhere to all of your requests. We don't want to not provide what you're requesting. For example, you had asked me to provide you 3 years, it says, hello Ida, reviewing the provided financials. I do not see any breakouts, but what are the contributions that the foundation has made to the district over the 3 years? And I expressed to you, well, this is going to take me time. I need to go reach out to the CPA who does it. And your remark back to me, well, it shouldn't take you time. You should get this done because they're short.
That's not what I said. What I was saying is, if we ask the foundation, what else does the foundation spend money on? How many outlays does the foundation have? I wouldn't expect them to have a lot, but if they did, well, that'd be a different story.
I just ask for, just the respect of us trying to get you what you want. And like Greg says, it's not coming as quickly, I know, as you wish it would come. But we do provide you information, trying to give you an insight of what we need to do to accomplish what you're asking. And having remarks like that is really this counting what we're trying to do to get you what you need. And so we did get you what you needed and what you wanted. Brent prepared it.
Thank you.
I did meet with the foundation and they asked me to go ahead and forward these to you. But again, it's not something like you said in your email, you should be able to get this within a couple of hours. It doesn't work that way. And I appreciate that respect that you give my team so that we can accomplish what you're asking.
And I have a question. The foundation is separate from us. They're not accountable to us.
No, but they give us funds, and their sole purpose is to give us funds. I want to know what they gave us.
Yeah, that's the
And
problem.
I figured they could easily, I assumed
Yeah,
that looking that number would be easier. When I just said Brent keeps all those books, I realized nobody on the foundation probably has access to look at that information without going through Brent's books, and that does make sense.
And it
But
takes time.
I assumed that somebody,
And once your demands are met, Max, what is the purpose of all
I-
this information?
we've been losing money for years. I'm trying to evaluate, and I can't, it's kind of hard to evaluate. We're supposed to do oversight and evaluate what happens here, and it's hard to, well, the numbers went up and went down, okay, but analyzing those areas and categories. What are we spending for here? How much did we spend on this party we had? It was very nice. How much did we spend on that? What's going out here? Looks like we had some staff positions. We have a marketing coordinator. Well, what was that? Where did that come in? How does that help the bottom line? Questions like that. Well, you can't see any of those numbers, so you have to ask.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Max, but some of the questions, so we spend much more money, a bunch of money on vaccine. I'm not going to say, why did you spend that on?
Well, I would agree.
So there are things that, I understand why why do we have a communication director? That's a reasonable question. Why did you spend money on travelers?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
You brought up the concern or the question about the communications director. Can I better understand, or you can maybe explain to the board where that's coming from and what's the reason that you feel?
Well, to the board, it's coming from, I'm trying to look. We've been losing money for a long time. I don't know how much we're paying anybody, that's part I asked about the staffing level. I would assume that you've got a charter idea. These are the positions. I need to have this many MPs or mid-levels. I need this many doctors, this many MAs. What is that personnel staffing expectation you need to have to make the clinic work? And so that's why I asked, what is that organization chart?
Can I also share with you that that's something that you approved in the budget?
Well,
That was part of your approval in the budget, was based on allocations per position, per department.
I didn't see allocation per position per department. I didn't see any salary breakdown because I stepped out of the room. And the paper I had, I didn't see any breakdowns on that budget.
So that is part of the budget, and the communications coordinator was part of that budget, and it was all inclusive in the numbers. So because I've heard you mention it several times, and so I'm just trying to understand from you, is your thought not to have anybody, or what are you trying to really say?
I want to see what the plan is, and I'll be following the plan.
It's your budget, that's your plan, and you're
Okay,
following it.
hold on.
Isn't
The
that right?
the budget. But the budget doesn't give the detail that says, we should have this staffing and this is how we're spending it. That's what I'm saying. I can't see that. And so I want to know, I want to see how it is and how you're following that plan. Because that plan, if we don't have the right employees or we're hiring other people for whatever reason, then that's an area we could save some money.
How we're following the plan was when the budget review. So that's how we're following the plan. The second thing is, Max, we invited you, you asked for a budget committee. We set up meeting times. I planned on being there. You could not make any of them, and it probably could
We
be
had
just...
to, and I got sick.
I understand that, I'm not complaining about that, you had good reason. But we set up the time so that that could be done. The budget had to come to pass. We can do that again this year so that you can get those things. But we complied with your request. Now, that things happen, life happens, I'm not disagreeing with that. But we complied with your request, and that still isn't good enough. And that's getting frustrating as heck for me. I'm
just looking for details.
Yeah, but you had the opportunity and weren't able to take care of it. And
So the only way I can get the details is if I come down here for 2 hours on Monday?
you asked for a budget meeting with a budget committee. We set that up.
I did.
And you did not make those meetings. And now you're complaining. We can have those budget meetings this time, but this time, be there.
So the only way to see this detail is come to a budget meeting?
That is one place.
Agreed. That's not the only place. We approved the budget, and we approved the budget, and that budget was supposed to be a proposed budget, because by September 1st, we're supposed to have that final budget, put the word out to the public, and announce we're going to have our budget presentation meeting, which we haven't done.
So you sent that, remember when you sent that email? I took that email and I sent it. You were referring to a policy that is written under the county. That is a policy that they wrote, so I checked with legal. That is not a policy that we follow as a special healthcare district.
Okay.
So
I have an answer to that, because we talked about it. Noel sent me a letter and said no. Now,
So I did clarify that, and that's the reason that it transpired as it did. So it wasn't anything going in contrary to what you were saying. I was following the instruction and the direction that was provided to us by legal. And because that was a policy you provided, and here's the thing, Matt, like you just provided a policy from the city. We're a different kind of entity. So we have to look at like for like kind of entities. And that's what we follow. And I try to follow through with the instruction you give me, but I also have to do the double check, just to make sure that we are following the right one.
Okay.
So that was that reason.
And so Max, going back to when we set up a budget committee, and I hope everybody can attend, so it's not just Max and I, that everyone's there, that the appropriate detail that we ask for will be available for Brent and Ida, so that those things can be taken care of. But when we set these things up and opportunities are given, and someone doesn't take advantage of that opportunity, I'm sorry.
Yeah, missed opportunity.
Yes.
It's supposed to be transparent. But
It is.
It is.
But it is transparent. If we're all there, it's a scheduled
We
meeting.
get the budget every month.
Okay, and I've been trying to be able to look at detail, and
You can have that.
You can have-
Your access to that, we have asked for that. When we've gotten that, I'm telling you again, if you want that level of detail so that for this next budget, because we're through this budget, okay?
it's not about the budget, it's about the actual, that's what I'm looking for.
I understand that, but if you want that kind of information, there is a time and place where we can do that, and that is when we sit down with the budget committee and do that. And I hope it's everybody there, and it's a scheduled meeting. But you're asking, it's kind of like the horses out of the bag, because things were done. You asked to have those meetings, you weren't able to be there. No, that's not a complaint, that's not any fault of your own, that's just the way it is. But the district had to move forward.
Okay, I'm not questioning we move forward, now I want to see where we're at.
But you did. You did see where you're at. Now, if you want specific detail, you're saying here. And if you think that specific detail then it needs to be brought to board, please do that. Because that's what we've asked for, specific detail to be brought before the board. We've done that. And so you can do the same thing. There are two sources. They have both offered them. And this is not the first time they've offered them.
There's actually a third source, and I know you've been in contact with them, which is the auditors. So I want to ask that if anybody's reaching out to CPAs or auditors, if you guys can just let me know so that I can be prepared, so when they call
I haven't
me.
talked to the auditors.
This was in the beginning. So our auditor, so we have Kelly Brink.
I've asked Kelly some big questions. Kelly didn't get into the weeds. I didn't ask him to analyze
Okay.
anything. I asked him
So-
big picture questions.
So you will
about how
have
things
an
look.
opportunity for your audit, and that's one of my updates, if I may.
Sure, go ahead.
I know it's in my CEO report, but I think it's part of Treasury right now. They are preparing the audit. It looks like we presented, I think, everything that they need. And so they will be here next month. So that'll be another opportunity for you, Max, to inquire, maybe dig a little bit deeper with the audit report. And if you want to go back, you can go to our website, any one of our website, and they'll take you to all of our 3 audit reports if you want to go back and do some
I
investigating.
have the audit reports.
Okay, all right. So that will be another opportunity for you to see how we're standing and get any qualified notes from professional CPAs or professional auditors. So that will be next month.
Okay.
So I wanted to give you guys an update.
So for the record, to answer, so talking about the city's a different agency, I don't think that's a valid thing. Public agencies are accessible transparency, and when I saw the detail that anybody can look at, now I asked the question, we should have that same transparency. It would be expensive, so well, okay, it's kind of hard to have it tomorrow, and that's a good answer. So the question would be, why couldn't we? And say, oh, because it would cost us $50 million worth of software. So that would be a valid answer.
I don't want to misconstrue, we have transparency, Max.
That,
So
but
we
you
are
don't
meeting-
have the transparency
Yes,
that I was seeing, and that's why I'm asking. I can click on that link right now, and I can look up every $5 check that the city writes. That's a lot of gross detail, but that information's available to anybody in the city that wants to look at it.
So
And so that's a question.
at this moment, as I explained earlier, if the board wishes, we can certainly invest in getting to that fashion for you. But in the meanwhile, I again want to offer you to come in and sit with us so that you can see that, so that you can see what goes into preparing all of these reports.
Okay.
I am tasked with that as the CEO of this organization to do that. And I am looking at each one of these warrants, every single one of them, but if you want to see that process and see how it's done, you're more than welcome to see the layers that go with it.
Okay?
But transparency is happening, it's occurring, it's on public domains, and we have been acknowledged to be transparent.
I'm just talking about level of detail. The other thing, and yes, when we were talking about the budget, and even though we reference the government code a lot of times, the well said, hey, I want you to know, we use the health and safety code, not the government code. Well, I think I have a copy here. The health and safety code on budget says using what do you mean, Jesus? We should know how it works. We should know what the law is, because we're tasked by the law. And it says in the health and safety code that we should use good, sound accounting practices and from the government code. It tells us to refer to the government code to tell us. The government code doesn't tell us how to take care of medicines and patients, but it refers to the government code to tell us how admin works.
So good accounting practices is using a qualified CPA,
I'm not
is
questioning
using a
that one.
qualified auditor. So we have used good qualified
I'm
practices.
not questioning the qualified practices. I'm saying it refers you to the government code. And the government code is where it says that you need to post that you're having this meeting, you need to put it in the newspaper, say in 2 weeks, we are going to review our budget. So somebody can come in and ask questions, anything they want to ask questions on. That's in the government code that the health and safety code says to use.
But
We've never done that.
we went through legal, and legal says this is what we should do.
And we are posting that we are having a budget, and it's actually on this month's agenda to actually schedule that date.
Okay.
So that will even be available even sooner than the date that is, than the budget meeting. So that information will be available. And that's a way to support what you're asking for, in spite of us getting direction of how you want it to happen. So I'm still trying to meet your requests. Okay, also I wanted to inform everybody that our Medi-Cal rate has gone up. Medi-Cal rate.
Do we, are we finished with the treasury report? 'Cause we got two
Yeah,
questions.
I just want to share
Okay.
this last thing, because this is part of the finances. So we were at 155 for the Medi-Cal payment, and our RAP was at 125.86. We will now be at 161.11, and then our RAP payment will be at 130.64.
That's for Deep
Yeah.
Valley?
That's all.
Is that for Deep Valley?
No, that's clinic.
Oh,
Yeah. So I wanted to share that that was effective January 1st for that increase. Okay?
Okay,
Yes.
motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Okay, was that what we were on?
Yeah.
I move we accept the treasury report.
I have a motion, do we have a second? And roll call,
Greg,
yes.
Maggie,
Yes.
Rosemary.
Yes.
And yes, Michael.
No.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Excuse?
Yes.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Now, we have to take separate action on the monthly budget. Yeah, okay, we have to take, board will consider the approval of the monthly budget for the fiscal year. So that was Brent's report on the 6 months. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the monthly budget report that he gave. I have a motion on the floor.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Ann makes the motion, do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, Maggie seconds. Roll call,
Greg,
yes.
Maggie,
Yes.
Rosemary.
Yes.
And yes, Michael.
No.
Okay, communications coordinator.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. First of all, I would like to acknowledge everybody in gratefulness, because I've been wanting to be part of this team for a while. I see the great work that the district does, and I've been wanting to come in and help out with that. And in my report, I would like to report that the end of year celebration happened on December 15th, and the special events committee actually was able to rally all of our staff and participate in a spirit week, as well as we awarded our Employee of the Year award, and this year we had 3, honoring Ms. Rosemary Rivera from the clinics, Rosario Reynoso from Eden Valley, and Rodrigo Reynoso, Rosario's son, from the district. And then they received a certificate, a gift card, and also flowers from Ida. And continuing, so the Spirit Week encouraged the staff to wear Santa hats, decorate a stocking, and also drink hot cocoa and bring their own mugs. Within that week, we also did candy grants, and we had over 200 of them purchased by our staff to our staff. So our staff recognized each other. That was a good employee engagement event that we held. And we were able to, the total on those grants was $544, and they were deducted by their paycheck. And then this, we also, in December, we also held a toy drive that was spearheaded by Charisma and HR and community volunteers. And my part in that was to rally the staff and get them to donate gifts for our community members, our children in our community. And we got over 40 gifts donated by our staff and our community to go back to our pediatric children in our clinics. And I have also been working very hard on leading the website redesign. So we are working on being compliant, making sure everything is as transparent as possible. And I also, I'm revamping the Soledad Medical Clinic. So you should see some changes there. And then on January 17th, Pam Hernandez from Social Services here at Eden Valley and Erica Leon and I attended a networking event at Ivy Park at Salinas, which is a private pay facility. And the reason for that event was to network and make sure that the care practitioners know Eden Valley is here, we have beds available, and that will allow us to increase our revenue here for Eden Valley. I also supported the Eden Valley administrator in making sure that we created a branded welcome packet for all new residents. When they come, they get here and they have a very great packet that will allow them to know exactly what we are trying to do with them.
Beautiful, they did a good job.
And throughout the month, I have been acknowledging birthdays by providing staff with a dedicated birthday card. I will give them to their managers, and the managers will send it over to the team so everybody signs. And if the employees are here on their birthday, I will give them balloons for their just to recognize them on their special day. And also we have been acknowledging anniversaries. We have a very big one, so we are doing milestone anniversaries, which is 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 15, and 25. We have a big one coming up tomorrow. It's Olga Morales. She is, her milestone is 25 years with us. Yes. 25 years, so we're giving her a certificate and a pin for her to feel acknowledged and make sure that she knows that we love her being here. And I also sent an invitation to all of you for Ms. Jeannie Aquino's 105th birthday. That will also be happening tomorrow. And I have been collaborating with her family, make sure that they send me pictures, so we have a beautiful display of hers. She is a resident here of the Eden Valley, and she will be discharged the day of her birthday, which is Saturday. So we just wanted to make sure that she felt special.
Everyone.
She has a big family.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, big family, big.
Tell them about the cake.
Yes. So we are making this celebration possible, all by donations. Thank you to La Plaza Bakery. They donated a full sheet of cake. And they were
donating the cake?
La Plaza Bakery.
Really?
Yes.
They're good.
Yes. And initially I wanted to have hors d'oeuvres and wine, but we wanted to save cost, and we got, we didn't get a donation of hors d'oeuvres, but I did get a donation of wine, thanks to Constellation Brands. Constellation Brands provided that, and we were able to use that as well in last night's mixer that Susan held, and I'm sure you'll be able to hear about that. But we were able to interact with families who also had a great positive review of Eden Valley and the staff. Okay, let me see what else. Yes, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
So if I can add, and maybe you might want to speak to this. So Adriana and Suzanne, our administrator Eden Valley, presented at the local Aging and Disabilities Action Plan. So you maybe want to talk about that?
Yes, so with that, Alliance on Aging invited us to have a presentation with other community organizations such as Natividad, Blue Zones, the Blue Zones Project, and there were a lot of other community organizations who were on attendance, such as the Hospice Giving Foundation, which our goal for those meetings and those presentations is just so they know the quality of care that we offer here at Eden Valley, and that they make sure that we have a constant communication, so they send their patients here to us, because it is a very coveted facility. From what I've been hearing since I came on board in November, is everybody loves Eden Valley. They just didn't know exactly if we had beds, and there wasn't a lot of community outreach happening. And now that Erica Leon is here, she has a lot of connections with the community. I am tagging along, and so does Pam Hernandez, who is the social services. We're making a team effort to make sure we target all of our stakeholders.
Can I add something? I was lucky enough to be able to attend the end of the year event in December, and it was outstanding. The decorations were beautiful, everybody was dressed nice, there were tablecloths on the table. We had our choice of if we wanted chicken or steak. We were all seated and served. And all the people who work here, every one of them got a wonderful prize. They were wonderful prizes. And so I think that was a great acknowledgement. The decorations were outstanding. The people were wearing their Christmas sweaters, and they were supposed to be ugly sweaters, and I couldn't find one ugly one. And it was just a wonderful event, and I was happy to see all the staff being able to win a wonderful prize. Every single one, every single.
And, and I'll back that up with what Rosemary said, and the other thing is that it was held locally, and I think it made it easier for the staff to attend, which I thought was really nice. And then there's a real nice thank you note in the packet. I don't think it's in here, but in the, it's on the online.
It's in there.
Is it in here?
Yeah.
There's a real nice thank you note from one of the staff members. And my other, on the Alliance on Aging, if my memory serves me correctly, they are the ones that sponsor this fashion show.
The trash and
The trash show.
Yeah.
And I know that we talked about it in the past, that maybe they could do a little trash and show for the residents. I think that they
They're kind of a
do a little walkthrough maybe after the fact, and because it's a fun event, and I think some of the residents would enjoy it as an activity.
Yes, I would
Kind of an
certainly.
FYI.
Yes, I can certainly reach out to them and make sure to see if that's a possibility.
Yeah, because the other thing is that Me Clinic or Me Memorial, they enter, and oh, do they have some fun stuff. But anyway, I think the residents and the staff would enjoy a little.
Just a few people, at least a few of them. It would be
Just a
nice.
few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you got some of the local entrants to come in and do a little bit,
Registration.
especially if they're coming down with that. Very good.
I was obviously at the Christmas event, toy giveaway. That was fantastically handled. Charisma dressed as the Grinch. She was fantastic. She should be commended. That we were doing that community outreach was fantastic. The thing that I think we should consider for next year is that Santa should visit the residents. Because the residents came in to see Santa.
Oh.
We had one lady who was in tears, and they were lining up so that may be something we need to think about for next year. But it was a well-organized event. I want to commend Charisma and her daughter, because they were just fantastic.
Well, and thank you to Craig, because he was our Santa Claus.
I have the figure for
Yeah, so yeah, it was a beautiful event. Everybody enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. CEO report?
Yes. I'm getting a little cold.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Happy New Year, first of all, to each and every one of you. I hope everybody enjoyed and had great holidays with their families. We have now entered 2024, and I'm really looking forward to this new year. Each year at the district, as a leader and as the CEO, I like to inspire and I like to motivate. And the way that we can do that is coming up with a theme. So last year our theme was celebration, because we were celebrating our 75 years of existence, right? This year, actually, our theme is inspire. So you guys will see, and Adriana didn't allude to it, but she's actually prepared a full year project plan for communications and marketing for the healthcare district, which is pretty awesome. And if you ask, I think she'd be more than happy to share that with you guys. But the goal is to keep the inspiration going in all of our events that are happening throughout the district. That's a goal, and it's an inspiration for healthy lives of our residents, healthy lives of our community, and even healthy lives of our staff. So we plan on maybe doing a healthy like 5K run. We're gonna do like a health week. We're gonna have events. So there'll be like a 5K run, a walk. We're still kind of going through the planning stages, but look out for that. And so this year is inspiration. We already talked about the end of the life, the end of year celebration. I know. What did I miss? End of year celebration, and again, thank you to Rosemary, Ann, and Graig for attending that event. It was a beautiful event, and it was nice to have you there. Yeah, we're gonna change the time though this time, because last time it was in the middle of their lunch hours. We're gonna change it to the afternoon so that nobody has to come back to work, so. Yes, we gave a lot of gifts out. We had a photo booth. We had a wonderful dinner, and everybody was in great spirits. We launched, and I announced this last time we met, our Leadership Academy, Professional Development Leadership Academy, and it effectively launched January 16th, actually in this room, which was made up of 12 key managers from the clinic, Eden Valley, and Women's Center. This is a 2-hour session that occurs once a month, and the topics covered are vary. The first topic in leadership, and I met with the staff members afterwards, and one of them in particular was from the clinic, and she just liked and loved the information that she got. Another one of the managers here at Eden Valley took that information and applied it that very day to her own staff meeting. So they are really enjoying this. They love that we as a district are supporting their development and their growth, and we're giving back to them. Because I figure if you give to the managers then can feed it down to their staff. So just be really proud of that as a district that we are supporting that.
I don't think that's something we've ever done before, so I'm really thinking that having to provide staff training at our middle management level is a significant advancement in the development of our staff.
This was one of my goals when I first got here that I wanted to accomplish, but with everything else going on and a lot of things to improve upon, I'm glad that we finally found the right person to help us support that. So thank you. Yes, and the goal is that eventually these managers will make recommendations for their staff. So we will continuously, have this opportunity to keep developing our team from within. What else? MC Gives. So if you guys recall, MC Gives was an invitation that was given to our foundation. MC Gives, the ask this year was to support our CPSP program, also known as the Comprehensive Prenatal Education Program. And last, we got our total donations from that of $3,165.
How much?
$3,165.
Nice.
And it came from individuals. Their part was $2,165, and then we got a challenge gift donation of $1,000. So we got several donors who participated in that event. And hopefully we'll get invited to do that again this year. Eden Valley hosted a family social night yesterday. This was for the Eden Valley residents and their families. It was from 5:30 to 6:30. There was 20 RSVPs. And it was just a social event, and they loved it. We got to meet with the families and with their loved ones, and it was just a way for them to get to know us and the team, put a face and put a name, give them contact information, and then just chat with them on anything that they wanted to talk about.
That's fantastic.
And we'll have those again. It'll be done quarterly, so maybe we'll let you guys know when the next one is. If you guys are available, you guys can join us as well. We continue to do capital improvements, and in more particular, speaking of, is the computer upgrades. If you guys recall, I've shared with you guys that we do have a group of computers that were not upgraded in a timely fashion, so my goal is to get those upgraded. They're about 5 to 10 years old. So we initiated about a quarter ago, and we launched the upgrade plan, and we did about 5. We just did it again this month, and we did another 5 for that. So,
And that's just hardware.
That's, yeah, computers, so that way the staff has, up-to-date stuff. We talked about the audit already earlier. You guys should be expecting that in the next board meeting. We talked about the PPS rate already there. We talked about Medi-Cal rate. We talked about the deficit. That's going to be something for us to keep our eye on. I shared this with you a couple of meetings ago. That was SB 525. If you guys remember, this was a governor's signed bill back on October of 2023, which is called the Healthcare Worker Minimum Wage, and staff has already been asking for it, and especially at the clinic. We do have a group of about 30 staff members that in essence would be eligible for this. So this is anyone who's not at the $18 threshold. It still hasn't been finalized. They're telling us that it's June 1st to enact it. Now we're hearing that it's going to be pushed back to 2025.
That's what I heard.
Here's the impact, you guys, and Max would like this because we talk about budgets. We had budgeted $18. So that impact to the budget of $18, and that's just raw income and salaries, not including all the other PTO and holidays and everything else that goes up as a result. So for estimate about 30 people that we have that would need to make that change, say at $18, that would be an impact to the district of $83,000 a year. Okay?
Yeah.
But let's say that we have to go back, because remember I shared with you guys, we have to select which category we fall in. And if we do it incorrectly, what they'll do is they'll say you did it incorrectly, now you owe that money back to the employees, but then they're going to fine you too. So we'll work with the attorneys to make sure that we pick the right one. But let's just say that we have to go to 21 by June 1st. Okay? If we have to go to the 21, those same people, the highest raise by percentage would be around 34%. And the total impact to the district will be about $386,000. Pardon me, $286,000. So it's nice, we agree, we want this to happen. Obviously, the downside is that there is no financial support. It comes out of the same dollar that we're producing now.
The state is saying you're gonna have to pay more, but we're not gonna pay more for the services you're providing. You're requiring more cost, but we're not supporting that, saying we're acknowledging we're requiring more costs, so we're going to increase, because a majority of our patients are medical.
Okay, moving on to my next topic is the retirement. So as you guys know, we've given you guys an update as to where we stand and what are the next steps that we're taking. And this is into reference of completing the termination of our 403 plan. If you guys recall, that 403 plan was a plan that was established many years ago and should have not been, we should have not had that plan because we're not a nonprofit. We should have had something more like a 457 plan. We've suspended that plan and we reopened a new one. So we have to go through the plan termination. We met with the Hayes group, who is now helping us. If you guys recall, you guys made an approval so that we can move forward with the plan. So early and mid-January, it's targeted that the Hayes group will prepare the termination letter. We will sign it and establish a termination date to provide adequate participation communication. Then later in end or mid-January, early February, nationwide Hayes to collaborate on a participant communication that will be sent out to the 403 participants. In January to mid-February, there'll be a fee arrangement, ongoing participant level support and education, and ongoing plan level support to us. In mid-late March, update the current investment offerings and current investment mapping for transition. In mid to late March, we'll review the current plan design provisions, consider new and modernized plan provisions and options, and update the document. And then in mid to like March, there will be group meetings to address the plan updates, one-on-one meetings to help individuals, ongoing participant support, on-site and virtual, and one-on-one meetings. In essence, their choices will be to roll over the plan or roll it out into their own IRA product. So that will be happening with the staff in the next coming months. So I wanted to give you guys an update on that. Any questions so far on anything? Okay. Max, we talked about the foundation, we talked about the breakout of that. Personnel. So I just want to remind you, Max did have a request for a copy of a performance evaluation for the manager that was the clinic manager at, and just as a reminder to all of us and to the board that this is confidential personnel records. The board really only has to need to know on the things that relate. Personnel records of rank and file are generally not within the purview of the board, and those are within our purview, so that is why Max didn't receive it. And I think the other thing behind that, Max, is your conflict of interest, because she was and is your wife's boss, or was your wife's boss. So that would be another conflict of interest that would lie. But I just want to remind you guys of that, and this is written to Max, to the attorney, on personnel records of those sorts. The other request that we got was Max wanted a copy of the org charts.
Of the what?
Organizational chart.
Oh,
Okay, so I have,
What should be our staffing levels?
there was one.
What should our planned
So
staffing levels be?
I said, hello Ida, I hope your holidays were pleasant. Back to work here. I'm trying to understand operations, and you provided me a vague org chart at my orientation, but I would like to see a current org chart. So I do have a current org chart that I'd like to provide everyone, if that's okay. Okay? And so hopefully it's not vague enough, it's not vague any longer, but if it remains vague, please let me know so I can modify it accordingly. This is a published document that we have in our lobbies and stuff. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And then Mac's other request was staffing levels. Are we short and are we over? So I did have my HR administrator work on this project for you, Max, so that we can get you, and let me see if I can find it here quickly. We're basically over by one.
Could I just interject here a little bit? Should these requests come through the board so that we don't duplicate these? You know, I mean, should they come in a public setting and ask for them?
I think so, because why should Max know that if I don't know that?
I would share
Well,
it
because
with you.
she's bringing it to the board.
That's what I mean.
But-
If he's asking for it and it just goes to him, then
Well, I think
we
she's
wouldn't
bringing it up
know.
here, but
Yeah.
what I'm getting at is if I ask for this and he asks for that and you ask for this,
So,
is it duplication?
I want to refer you to the policy statement, and it's the second paragraph, and it's the last sentence.
Right.
Individual board members, except as otherwise authorized by the board, shall have no power to act for or bind the district or the board, or to direct any staff of the district. So, if I, for example, want to contact a lawyer, our lawyer, that's happened, because we've had to talk to a lawyer through Ida. Ida knows about it. So, and it's, for the most part, reported to you guys. So we just want to make sure that no one person, it's like when Ida, when I went down to talk to me, you knew about it. We weren't making any commitments to the board for us, but you knew about it, and if we were going to make commitments, we'd have had to bring it back to you. So no one is making commitments, financial or otherwise, without going through the board. no one is making commitments, directing staff time.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, is that, you know, and
And that's what
I'm
should
all
be.
for the transparency, and I think we are, and I'm all for the questions, if there's a board member who has questions about something, but I think the request should come publicly at the board meeting.
And then we should have some assessment as to what it's going to take to do that. Because if, we have to run a business.
That we have what?
We have to run a business.
That's right.
And if staff time is
Right.
taken away from
Right.
running the business,
Well-
and you can see financially, we're doing much better. But if we're taking
Right.
staff time away to do a bunch of other things, if, for example, we want to have a level of specificity that Max may want,
Can
then,
be asked, shouldn't
No,
that be asked at a board meeting?
see, that's the question, but the real question is, what's it gonna take? And if it means software, and we're gonna have to spend $50,000 or $5 on software,
Right.
then that's a budget issue.
Right.
Those are the things that you, but to just come in and say, for me to come in and say, I want you to write
Yeah.
a canvas-wide evacuation plan, and I want to see it next week. But I can't do that, nor should I.
But can't you come to the board and say,
We've done that. 'Cause
Well-
yeah, we've done that,
no,
all of us.
but that's why I'm going forward, is that I think that as board members, if we want to see something, we should ask for it.
And that's happened here, that's been the ongoing policy. That's been the ongoing process.
Okay.
Because, I mean, every one of us have come in and said, can you give us X?
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
happened.
Okay.
Or you've gone in and talked to Ida,
Yeah. Okay.
and it was produced later.
Okay. Okay.
So that's an ongoing, that's
Yeah.
a procedure that's been as long as I've
So-
been on board.
So requests should come to the board
What?
meetings and must.
And if it's
by
going to be,
board approval.
if it's, I don't think it needs, but if it's going to involve cost or staff time that's significant,
Then it comes, I agree that needs to come to the board.
yeah, so that's,
Every question I've asked so far, I believe was answerable, and if it's not, then
Yeah.
that's what the answer is. So I don't believe I tasked anybody who spent $5,000 or $10,000. I asked some questions that I thought
Mhm.
would be available, and if they're not available because it takes this, then that's the response, and then we need to talk about whether that information is needed or not and how we would get it.
But you didn't ask them at the board, you sent the email.
I asked her questions, she didn't, she.
But I haven't
normally-
seen it, so I don't know what they say,
Well,
but she's just saying, I got an email from Max, I got an email, you know.
I asked questions, and I was asking about staffing levels.
But
And
shouldn't that be directed
Well,
here for?
if it means she has to spend 10 hours putting it together, then it should come to the board, because I can't test her. I assumed, in the question of the staffing levels, that she would have the data of, these are the positions I have, these are what's full and not full, because if you don't know that, how do you figure out if you're short or need to hire more people?
Well, then that
So
goes back to paragraph 2.
I didn't task her to go spend money, I asked the question. And if the answer is, I don't know that, it would take this time, well, that would be an answer, and then would come to the board and we say, do we need this?
Well, then that's,
Yeah, but that's kind of the ongoing.
I would never task her to go write a procedure. I asked questions that I thought were answerable, and if they aren't, then that's the response. I can't answer that, or we would need to talk about it at the board meeting.
I think you and I are saying the same thing, but I don't want to argue with you on that.
There's no reason to argue.
Yeah, but I think we're saying the same thing. Okay,
Okay, so Max asked me to look into, looking at expected and projected staffing levels, were we short and were we over? So Max, again, it's just coming straight out of the budget. So based on the budget allocations, we are over MAs at the clinic. And then you asked, were we short? So we still, yes, we still continue to be short. And that is on our end, which actually we just made an offer, so as of my report, we have one LVN left and we have 11 CNAs. Is that helpful? Is that what you were looking for?
That's part of the information. Again, looking at a chart like this, okay, well, how many positions are there, and what are positions and what aren't? That's what I was looking at.
yeah, you got this, and my next kind of question is this kind of stuff something that we should and I'm asking the board.
So we go over this during the budget.
Yeah, and so is it something that when we do the, like, a quarterly, or when we do a quarterly review of where we are on the budget, is that something that the board would like to know just in general, like she just did right now? We're short this, we're over that, and that would be some detail as to why staffing is, our expenses are that. So that's something that when we talk about the budget and strategic plan, you may want to think about, that's all.
It's just a waiting game now. You put in the application and you wait. So that's being handled by Kelly, our auditor, and he's tasking with that. Unfortunately, as you alluded to, we are a government agency, and as such, government doesn't move at the same pace as we're used to, and they move at their own pace. So the request has been put, the application has been sent, and it's just a waiting game.
That's fine, it's been submitted, that's the key.
Absolutely. So when auditors come, and I'll chat with Kelly and see if he can give me an update on that the next time we come out.
And just to confirm, you and Sophie spent a lot of time on that just to save costs, so we didn't have to hire a consultant to work on it.
Correct.
So
We worked with him so that way we didn't have to pay consulting fees. We gathered all that information, she and I.
I appreciate that effort to save us money.
You're welcome. Okay, let's see, clinic updates. Outside of that, Eden Valley updates, I think I've given you guys,
700 form?
oh yes, just to remind you guys, I know it's not due until April, but please fill out your 700 form, and Greg, thank you, I think you were the first one to turn yours in, I do appreciate that.
Is that annual or every other year? Okay.
Yeah, and just do it online, if you like doing things online, that will be the best way of getting it done. Okay, so just some quick updates. We talk about, and I know Max has talked about the people that have left, but I really want us to talk about the people that have rejoined us. So Adela in the kitchen has rejoined us. She is now part of our team. Syra, who is a LVN, is rejoining us. We also have Jessica in our dietary who has rejoined us. We talked about Pam, who has rejoined us. Erica, who does our admissions, has rejoined us. And Vanessa, who does our MDSs, has rejoined us. We have signed, and she's become a part of our team. She was a temporary worker, that's why professional fees were up. Our director of nursing has taken on a full-time position. And then Susan, our administrator, and you may want to chat hers, Sophie, please. Susan, our administrator, has joined our team, and she's, doing a wonderful, wonderful job, and she's joined us as well. In addition to that, we talked about anniversaries. So we had Letty Uribe in our billing office, who is here 1 year. Mark De Los Santos, he's actually a rejoin, but so he's been back for a year since he rejoined us. Joanna Bravo, 1 year, and Jaylene Hendricks, 1 year. And then the biggest one is Olga Morales, 25 years. She's our housekeeper. So some fabulous, fabulous team members that we have at our district. Where are we at with census right now?
Question.
Yes, sir.
So you have an LVN return, is that at Eden Valley or at the clinic? You just said you had an LVN return.
Yeah, so thank you for clarifying. We only have one LVN position post, and she's our back office supervisor. So these would all be for Eden Valley.
I know we just lost a 25-year LVN that we had to let go because her position was eliminated, and I was curious why we're hiring other LVNs if we had to take a 25-year employee and send them away because we eliminated their position.
So that was at the clinic level, and that is correct. If you want to know more, we can certainly discuss that offline, as that is personnel, and decisions had to be made. But in your budget, if we go back to the budget, we only had approval for one LVN, so we were over budgeting. Okay. Census. We have 51 right now. 11 are Medicare, 7 are managed, 1 are private, 32 are Medi-Cal. And, hi, come on in, Susan. 0 are bed hose. I'm just going over your census right now. Occupancy is 86% right now as we speak. What else is there? Okay, Susan, maybe you can talk about where she has a couple of things that's been going on. Maybe you want to share your report and introduce yourself to the group and tell them why you're dressed the way you are today.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Susan Fan. I am the new administrator here at Eden Valley. Nice to meet everyone. A couple days ago, it's been my official 30 days, so I've been here 30 days and I survived it. The reason why I'm wearing this is today we had a game day skills fair for all of our staff to be ready and prepared with all the things that we have going on in our community. First of all, they got to know who the administrator is and the abuse coordinator. Number 2, all of the regulations that we have to kind of remind them of, such as what is our code if there's a fire? What's our code in case someone has cardiac arrest? So we just did a whole thing and they were able to wear their team spirit. And I'm a 49ers fan, so don't hate me if you're Raiders or any other team members, but here at Eden Valley, we're all a team. And in our management meeting in the mornings, we have a cheer. It's like, who are we? Eden Valley. So it kind of gets them going a little bit. A little bit about me. I have been a healthcare administrator since 2019. I'm a multi-licensed state administrator, so I have a license in Hawaii. I still haven't had a chance to go, but I don't think that I need to anymore. I also hold a license in Idaho, and that community actually has several locations, such as Washington, Oregon, Arizona. So I was able to help them in those buildings. So prior to that, I also ran as an executive director for a senior community. That means independent living, assisted memory care, and skilled nursing. The most skilled nursing beds that I have had and was very privileged to take care of is a 150 bed down in Los Angeles. They also have behavioral health. And I also have been able to run a skilled nursing facility that has subacute. So there's trach and there's a lot more high acuity. That's a little bit about me, and I love hiking. I can't wait to hike the pinnacles.
I'll go with you.
Okay, yes, we'll do a hiking club. Our census, definitely, I think you've already went over it, we are definitely improving. I'm just looking at the numbers to today, up to date in January. We've increased from 10 in December to a total of 17. We are actually having a couple more admissions coming up in the next few days, so we hope to kind of hit that 59 as fast as possible. Yes.
How is the communication with the hospitals that are feeding into us from Salinas Valley, Natividad, Schell? Where are they coming?
90% of our referrals are coming from Salinas Health. We have a wonderful admission coordinator who used to be here before in other roles. Her name is Erica Leon. I used to be an admissions coordinator and I used to run admissions, so she and I tag team together to make sure our communication is response within 5 minutes.
So that's coming from Salinas Valley Memorial?
Yes. So 90% are coming from them. We've been doing a lot more outreach to our community partners to see if there's any referrals coming from assisted living or hospice that may need like some short-term stays. Anything that we can do to help our census and occupancy increase. And I know there might be a question about wait lists. We only have one right now. All of the referrals, wait list in our system. And I'm already familiar with working with PCC. There's a lot of reports that we're able to fortunately get from there. So I'm looking at our trends, and I can tell you right now, our average trending for the year to date, we've been about at 86% in occupancy. And then the other thing that we're looking at is trying to hit that 57, because in June, that's when we had the highest number of occupancy. And usually that's a dip for many skilled nursing facilities, is that seasonal where doctors and families are going on vacation. But we had a peak at 57, so I'm just trying to understand, was there anything that would be different that we can continue to increase it and hopefully hit that 57, if not 59? Any questions that I can help answer?
Any questions?
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure to meet everyone. Is there any, should go now, or?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
all done.
Have a nice evening.
Thank you. All right,
I thought Tasha was administrator.
she was,
Where does she live?
30
you'll
days
see it on your list about 30 days ago.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for me? Anything else I can help answer? That's my report. I still continue my partnerships with the Economic Development Committee. I won't go into all of it. The ACHD Board of Directors and Finance Committee. I attended the Monterey County Business Council. The Community Wellness Collaborative. I attend the local CSDA, actually Susan and I went to the local CSDA chapter dinner that happens quarterly, and still involved with the school district's safety committee plan, which they have incorporated our district as part of their plan.
Good.
So that's all going well. And that concludes my report, unless you have any questions for me.
No, I have a comment.
Yeah.
I really have to thank Ida, because we haven't met for a couple months, and there's been a turnover, and with the loss and gain of the people, that's a lot to have on your plate. And so Ida does a beautiful job of handling what's going on, and I want to thank her for that.
Appreciate that, Rosemary.
Very good, thank you.
Max, I think you had something to say?
So, information,
Yes,
I
sir.
know is, with that healthcare law, I was doing some looking,
Mhm.
and it appears that they also made a change in the sick leave. Would
Oh,
apply to
yes.
our, where the 3 days now becomes 5 days, and that applies to just the non-people that aren't getting PTO.
So it's, so like your on-calls and your part-timers, so they try to take care of those folks, and I think, I mean, not so much in our industry, but other industries, field workers and as such who don't get the luxury of having a PTO, they changed the law so that now they can get 5 days of sick leave.
Or even a part-time worker that works less than 32 hours,
They can get the
we
same.
have to give them, used to be 3 days, now they have to get 5 days of sick leave.
Yeah.
You can work 60 days in a year, they gotta give you 5 days sick leave. But anyway, but that was a new change, that's why I was just pointed out, just an observation.
I have a question, don't want an answer now. With Kaiser moving in, when we kind of do strategic planning, that's another potential issue for us, and so just, no need an answer now. I just
I
want to
know,
know, I think
but
we need to look at it. That's all.
Listen, you guys, healthcare in our industry, as you guys can tell, just look at the surrounding areas, what's going on in San Benito and what's going on in Watsonville. Healthcare is very volatile, and I think you're gonna start seeing it in our major hospitals closer to home. When you have another agency coming in like Kaiser, who's gonna provide the all-inclusiveness, it's gonna put more challenge on the people who are still here and trying to make it with the patients that they have. So I'm going to do a little bit of more research on that. I just want to, and I encourage you guys all to do research and see what the impact of Kaiser is on a small rural city like ours, because we're a rural community. But this may and will have a big play in our payer mix. You can look at maybe what happened in Watsonville as your prime example, but there is definitely a risk, there's definitely a fear, and that's definitely something to keep at top of mind.
Are they opening a clinic?
They're opening a clinic and a drugstore, prescription pharmacy.
They're gonna take over one of the buildings,
There's
Babies R Us, yeah.
In
Salinas.
Salinas, got it, but that being in South Salinas, got it. Okay.
It's by the car dealerships.
Yeah, it's right across from Home Depot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other thing I want to say is I gave the article to Ida, the lack of competition within Monterey County, it's just for the state, not talking about care. It's cheaper in New York City and Chicago to go to a hospital than it is in Monterey County.
$12,000 a night.
Oh, you're kidding.
No,
But
so,
that's why they don't even keep you at night.
But see-
You come in for a couple hours and
but
they send you home.
there are people who can't, so it's more, and it's all the hospitals. So it's more costly in the Salinas, California, did an article, and they're saying, during the research they've done, that the cost, that there's no reason for that level of cost. And one of the things they chalk it up to is the lack of competition. Because there's no private physicians in Salinas. You're all SCMH.
So, yeah, but look what happened to Chicago.
Well, it's Chicago, New York, we're talking about medical care.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the hospitals closing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because all the immigrants have gone there and they don't pay, and so the hospital went broke.
Right now, I mentioned Ida, we now all undocumented are eligible for Medi-Cal, which is insurance. We can't handle that, what we have. So we're going to have increased pressure to provide, I'm speaking out of turn, we're going to have increased pressure to provide service. I'm sure that the people who are assigning Medi-Cal patients to us are going to be saying, you need to do more. The Clinica is not taking any more. They're shipping them here. So we're caught between a hard place and a rock in terms of being able to provide just basic service, not counting to try to expand our service, the types of service we have.
So Clinica can just stop?
They only can give, that's what they're doing.
Well, right now, we're operating ourselves at 80% of capacity of the clinic.
Well, I think that kind of reiterates the need for bringing down those specialists from Natividad.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
The partnerships that I just have developed is just
The
fantastic.
OBs and.
It sets us apart. I mean, and they talked about, one of the doctors there stopped me the other day and he said that it was the day after the Thanksgiving, I think it was, and he came in and he says, thank goodness I came in. He had such a complex case that could have gone wrong really, really fast.
Yeah.
And this was dealt with, and again, we need to be so prideful as a district. This was dealt with in our community, in our backyard, with our local doctors, for our local patient. And we took care of that patient, which could have been a terrible, terrible situation.
See, we need an urgent care facility. We don't have the capability. There's just so many things that we need, and we're going to get, I would think, we're going to get increased pressure because of patients coming in needing things, and we're, trying to, that's why this budget thing is going to be really important, how we're going to
It's a
short-term.
difficult balance.
Yeah. Anyway,
Gotta do
that's,
that, and you gotta
I'm sorry before
balance the money and,
yeah,
anyway.
And I'm sorry, we need to set the meeting date, so, would it be best if we just sent you guys out like a, what do they call them, Sophie,
Proposed dates?
yeah, but one of those.
Like a calendar.
Doodle account or something. So think about it, we need to do our strategic plan, step 1. Step 2, we need to dive into our bylaws, and step 3, we need to do our budget. So strategic plan, we definitely need to earmark that for next month or March at the latest. And then we need to tie that into our bylaws so that way we can have that completed, so that way we can dive into the budget after that.
Are you
So-
thinking weekend, Saturday, or? do you
I don't care, whatever you guys tell me, we can do it during the day, we can do it in the
Okay.
afternoon, we can do it on the weekend.
the strategic
End of
plan.
day, 4 to 6?
Your strategic plan is going to be, I think, some.
I mean, I would say at least a half, I mean, last time we spent a full day, I think, practically.
And I think
I mean, we do have the draft and we do have the model of it, but we haven't touched it in a while. So it's almost like we're gonna have to start fresh. So, I mean, you would need at least a half day to a little bit longer.
I think.
And I'll provide you guys good food.
Always.
I think we're going to plan for a full day, and if it takes less, great.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever it is, but I have a very difficult time getting off during the day.
Oh,
Not impossible,
but potentially a weekend, a Saturday.
yes.
Saturday?
Not every Saturday, because I work Saturdays, but yes.
Well,
Let's look at it.
Well, let's look at just Saturday right now, on Friday, in February.
In February.
Are there any Saturdays that you're working?
I'm working the 3rd, I'm working the 10th. Working the 24th.
So that narrowed it down, 17th.
Yes.
So
That's that 3-day weekend though. 17th is that 3-day weekend.
I understand that, but see, the problem is that we go into March. How long are we gonna spend on budget? So, I mean, we have to work in a timely fashion.
Unless you have.
I have some time on the
17th, I can't.
24th, but by 3 in the afternoon, I gotta be taking,
How about-
that's down to.
How about during the weekday? Do you have a weekday?
I'd have to take a vacation day, which I could possibly. I don't have times off in the middle of the week,
Okay.
because
See,
He said the 24th.
other than that, what's the holiday in February, President's Day?
President's Day.
Oh, that Monday,
I don't have to work that day.
President's Day?
Okay, so the question is, that we don't need an answer now.
What's the date of the?
19th, 17th and 19th, please go.
Okay. Okay.
Let's look at that.
But if we can, because
I mean, if we can do the 17th.
I can't
And
do the 17th.
You're traveling?
I have something else going there.
what about the
Okay.
19th?
The 19th I could.
What is the 19th?
Which is
A
the Monday, it's President's Day.
Monday, President's Day?
Okay, Maggie?
I'm available the 19th, but I do work every weekend.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
She's a weekend
Yeah.
too.
So, but 19th would be available?
You know,
President's Day, yes, I'm off.
Okay,
Where it's
Monday?
a holiday, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
holiday for me.
Monday works.
so we're setting that as a date.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Max?
Monday,
No,
like 9.
It doesn't work for you?
I apologize. It's one of the few days my wife has off and we're out of town on the.
Bring her.
There's one concert tickets on Sunday the 18th, down Paso Robles. I won't be.
Yeah, no, I'm not just.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, can we do a weekday, Max? I know, I'm
Sure.
sure you're gonna have to take
Let's-
a day off. I
let's-
need to do that.
Let's look for a Thursday or Friday.
Maggie?
Thursday, Maggie says.
What days are you on?
Okay, we have, on the
Wednesday,
8th,
Thursday,
Yeah,
on the 8th, we all
Wednesday
have
or
ethics
Thursday.
training.
Wednesday, Thursday.
my day's off, yeah.
Okay, so Thursday.
Okay, starting off ethics training we're all having ethics training on the 8th.
We are?
What is that?
Just,
That's Zoom meeting.
just you and Rosemary.
Oh, just Rosemary.
Everybody
and I.
else is
So
good.
we're not gonna be able to do that.
how many hours is that, Sophie?
It's a 2-hour.
Is it AM,
Yeah,
Online,
from 10 to, it would be 10 to noon.
10 to noon?
Yeah. So,
No, Maggie said anyways Thursday, so it'd have to be a Thursday.
okay, so let's
What,
go to the dates. The first, and I'll let people look at,
No.
no, 15th,
And that's a Thursday?
yeah.
Have a doctor's
okay, so no on that one.
Okay, okay.
22nd,
available.
available. Okay,
22nd?
I can't do the 22nd.
Okay, how about the
because
29th?
is gone.
29.
I can do the
Available?
29th.
It's our
Well,
board
we're
meeting.
meeting.
No, that's where we
We're
need.
meeting.
See, this is the issue,
Yeah.
because
Wednesday, is it?
now we're into March,
Wednesday.
and if we're
Okay.
gonna we could spend probably several meetings on the budget, if that's what we do.
Okay.
So we've got to set some times. That just-
Okay, let's check Wednesday. How about Wednesday, the 31st?
Of March.
January.
That's March.
Oh.
Oh.
February?
That's
March.
already next week,
You
huh?
found-
Yeah,
Yes.
that's next Wednesday.
Okay, the 14th, well, that's Valentine's.
That's Valentine's.
How about the 21st?
Well, Valentine's Day,
How about the 28th?
during the day, you know,
28th is Saturday?
28th is,
Wednesday.
They're Wednesday.
shoot,
It's
yes, that's a Wednesday.
The 14th, I've got it starts
The
at
other
7.
thing is that I don't think we're gonna get
February.
6 people to be agreeable.
wow.
How about the 28th?
Available.
28th,
because
everyone.
what day?
There you go.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
That's
February 28th, the day before our
January
board meeting.
28th.
Is that because the 21st wasn't working for somebody, or you just?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, 28th is
The 28th
of February.
of February, excuse me.
What is that?
I feel very sick on the morning of the 28th.
Wear your mask and come to Eden
So
Valley.
the 28th is going to be strategic planning. February 28th.
Yes, everyone agrees.
Yeah.
Don't feel very sick, Matt.
6 a.m.?
What?
Okay.
What's the time I normally go to work?
What time? 8?
8 a.m.
8 a.m.
8
And-
a.m.,
and-
Sophie.
Here.
Well, wait,
No, 9 a.m.
what time does school start? Because I don't want to be
8
driving through here when the kids
Yeah,
are
you're
going
right.
to
What's
school.
the point? 9 a.m.?
9 a.m.?
That's better.
Let's do 9 a.m.
Okay.
Okay,
Plan for a full day.
yeah,
You may get out earlier, but just plan for a full day.
okay.
Yay.
We're
Well,
meeting at the window?
I don't know, I'll let you
Let's
guys
see
know.
here.
It may be a surprise.
Well, I don't know why it popped up on my phone, the windmill.
Okay,
It may be here.
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, fine.
At 8:30.
If the
9
handicap
a.m.
parking
9
waivers are
a.m.?
available.
Okay, 9 a.m.
Wednesday the 28th.
Do we
At
need
9
to,
a.m.
I'm just worried that the
You wanna do-
bylaws
Do you want to
take
do
up so much time, we don't have time to do the budget for
No.
anyone who wants to.
We're only
participate.
gonna do, I think we're
No.
only gonna do, okay. So
You haven't
do
even
wanna-
talked
you
about
wanna
a second,
schedule the
if-
bylaws?
If we,
If
Put-
there's time. if there's
no,
time.
bylaws on another date,
Oh,
and if we push that off too far, the budget is significant.
Okay.
So my question is, do
What does
we,
Saturdays look for March for every, oh no, Maggie works every Saturday.
do you want to,
Well, bylaws shouldn't take us a full day. I think I can do that in a half a day. I think we can do that in a half a day.
Can't we have a meeting and then report back? Can't we get like 3 people, if not all 5 can do it, have 3 come and then report back to the board?
that's a question of the board can decide.
It's gotta be 2 or less, or it's a meeting, and
Well, I know.
we'd have to, oh, you can publish it.
We can have a meeting.
We can have a public
We're gonna
meeting.
publish
That-
next week,
that-
but my
yeah.
point is if we keep going around and around and not everybody can be here, if we
We'll
can
never
get,
get to the budget.
huh?
We'll never get to the budget,
Exactly, so if we can get 3 out of 5 to meet and then report back to the
or
board,
even 2,
huh?
or even 2.
Or even 2.
So my question is that agreeable to the board? That we kind of, if we.
We're gonna have to, it's
Or
gonna
should
have
I?
to be.
Should I?
Okay,
Should
you,
I?
and if we can only get 2 to agree to a time, those 2, and they'll come back and report.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we in agreement on that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Good.
we're looking at March?
I think you could do February if you could only get 2 or 3.
Let me get back to February.
Well, I can send out dates.
Okay,
Don't worry. I'll send out
I
dates.
just want to make sure we have
And
plenty
then
of
what
time
I'll
for
do is
budget.
I'll send out dates for the budget.
Okay,
Okay, that sounds like a
Sophie,
plan.
so you and I will work on that.
okay.
Thank you for,
Well, at least we
Humoring
got the
me.
strategic plan. We got,
February
that's
28th.
important. February 28th at 9 a.m. Full day, everyone. Okay, we gotta go into closed session, so
okay,
Well, what about all the
shouldn't take too long.
information?
yeah, I don't think it'll take too long.
I have one issue before we go to closed session. We normally talk about our patient counts. The question is, when we say 24 a day, if one provider sees 24 and one sees 18, does that 24 make us more money? Because every patient doesn't bill the same amount. It depends on how complex the thing is. And some people, they might only see 16 people, but they're billing a lot more money. You can't just say a 15-minute block defines how much money they make.
One way for you to think about it is that the majority, 80% of our patients are Medi-Cal. So the reality of being any different is not, it's unrealistic.
But you're saying 80% of Medi-Cal because they only pay what they pay.
And I
you
track
don't bill
this
more
month
for
by
that.
month, I track it by per patient, per, I have formulas embedded per patient, per appointment, how much we have on that.
Because the Medi-Cal, no matter what.
So I'll give you a
appointment's
prime
appointment.
example. If 7 more patients are seen, that means 1 more patient per provider. That equates to over $30,000 more a month.
Wow.
And I break this down every month, and I have a track record for the last 2 years. We are benching 80% of our bench right now. So it does matter.
Okay, we're going to go to closed session, sir. Thank you for coming.